Only 2 games remain in what has been a very long season of basketball here at Hamilton Southeastern. It's been a very successful one for Coach Brian Satterfield and the Royals, even after coming off of a loss this past Tuesday to 5th-ranked Pike. The Royals have 2 games remaining on their schedule, and either one of those 2 games, a win, would allow them to claim the Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship outright for the 4th consecutive year. Tonight, they'll start that journey as they will play their final home game of the season. It is senior night here at Hamilton Southeastern as the Royals take on the Westfield Shamrocks tonight on audiosportsonline.com. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Royals basketball on ASO. My name is Brian Scott. So happy you could join us again for another edition of Royals basketball. Final home game of the season. It'll be against the Westfield Shamrocks. Again, only 2 games remaining. Tonight against Westfield. Next Friday night, the Royals take to the road for the final time. They'll take on Lafayette Jefferson. A win in either 2 games give them the outright Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship. And as I mentioned, that's for the 4th consecutive year. But before we have varsity action, we'll have some JV action tonight as Coach Calvin Bembry's team takes on the Shamrock JV team from Westfield. Let's give you the starting lineups for the JV game. First off, for the Westfield Shamrocks, the JV coach is Bob Jacobs. They'll start at a guard, a 5'11 freshman, Ryan Pepio. At the other guard, a 5'11 sophomore, Spencer Tebby. At forward, a 6'3 junior, Nick Krieg. The other forward is a 6'3 junior, Cam Shaw. And at center, a 6'5 junior, Chandler Kemp. So once again in the backcourt, Pepio and Tebby. And up front, Krieg, Shaw, and Kemp, the starting lineup for the Shamrock JV. For Calvin Bembry's Royals JV, a bit of a change up in the lineup. Starting at a guard is a 5'11 junior, Max Hankins. At the other guard, a 6'1 sophomore, Brock Sanders. At small forward, a 6'3 junior, Tim Ford. At the power forward, a 6'6 junior, Jack Kramer. And at the other forward, a 6'3 sophomore, Tyler Scholl. So once again, for the JV Royals, it'll be Max Hankins joined by Brock Sanders in the backcourt, Ford, Kramer, and Scholl. And that is Tim Ford up front. That is your starting lineup as we get ready for basketball for the final time here at Hamilton Southeastern this season. Boys hoping to do what the girls did in their senior night as they clinched. The girls also clinched the Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship. They're about ready to jump it up as Kramer will jump center against Chandler Kemp. Westfield in green, Royals in white. The ball is up in the air, and the tip is finally controlled by Hamilton Southeastern's Tim Ford. Give it to Max Hankins, right back to Tim. Max will give it left side to Sanders as the Royals look over. Man-to-man defense by the Shamrocks. High ball screen by Ty Scholl. Max Hankins gets the ball in the far corner, and Max hits the 3 from the corner to put the Royals out in front on the first possession of the contest. A little bit of 1-2-2 press, and now a turnover as the ball thrown away as Ryan Pepio trying to give it to Spencer Tebby. Diving from coming in from the front court was Chandler Kemp, but he was unable to save it, and the ball will belong to Southeastern. Now we'll watch the Shamrocks drop into a zone. Ford backs it out to Sanders, right side to Hankins. Skips over the top. Here's Tim Ford driving, kicks it out. Max, another 3, this time from the wing. That one's too strong. Ford with a rebound, kicks it out to Sanders, right over back to Hankins. Max guarded by Tebby as, again, the Shamrocks move the 2-3 zone. Max terminates his dribble but finds Brock, and right back to Max once again. Brock on the wing as the Royals set up their half-court zone offense. Left side to Ford, back to Max on the near wing this time. Max wants to give it to Ty Scholl, but he is fronted by Cam Shaw. Here's a 3 from the right wing as Brock Sanders puts the shot up, and he's going to be fouled, and this will be 3 free throws as Ryan Pebio's called for his first foul, and Brock Sanders is at the line to shoot 3. First free throw is good. 2 more on the way. Senior night here at Hamilton Southeastern as Royals will be celebrating 7 seniors who will be playing on this court for the final time. Second free throw by Sanders is good. And Brock with one more. One more for Brock. He cans all three of them, and the Royals get 3 points each on their two possessions, one via the long three-point shot and the other three on the free throw line. And now another turnover by Westfield as Spencer Tebby can't hold on to the basketball as he came trapped on the baseline and turned it over. So the Royals, with their third possession, after denying the Shamrocks a chance to even get across the midcourt stripe. Here's a pull-up jumper. Hankins shot no good, rebounded by Nick Krieg. Krieg almost throws it away. He's looking for some help, not going to find it, and they're going to call held ball. Neither official saw who it went off of, and by rule, that'll be a held ball, and the possession error will favor the Westfield Shamrocks. So the Shamrocks, as I mentioned, we've played a minute and a half of this contest. They haven't gotten the ball over the midcourt stripe yet. And they are still in danger of that, and now it'll be a 10-second call. Excellent Royal defense as they press in the backcourt. And with 4 minutes and 13 seconds left to go first quarter, the Royals have the ball up 6-0. Tim Ford with the basketball. Finds Kramer at the free throw line, and he's tied up by Spencer Tebby. Jack saying he got a hand upside the face. The substitution as leaving will be Nick Krieg, and Dylan Goggin is now in for the Shamrocks as Coach Bob Jacobs looks to shake something up. Ford finds Max Hankins. Three ball on its way off the rim, no good, tapped out, and Tim Ford gets the rebound for Southeastern. He'll give it back to Hankins as once again Southeastern in the 2-3 zone. Hankins right side to Ford, has Sanders to his right. Now he will pass the ball off. Nice bounce pass to Ty Scholl to Kramer, out to Ford, three on the way. Short off the rim, and the rebound is ripped down by Chandler Kemp, and we'll have a whistle, and the foul will go against Southeastern on the rebound. Go against Jack Kramer, his first, team first. And once again, the Shamrocks look to see if they can get it across midcourt. Tebby loses the basketball. He was trying to give it over near side to Chandler Kemp. And the Shamrocks still having all sorts of problems as now Frank Grimes will come in. He'll take over for Chandler Kemp as Kemp makes a detour by Coach Bob Jacobs. 3 minutes, 37 seconds remain in this first quarter. 6-0 Southeastern. We got a three ball from Max Hankins and three free throws from Brock Sanders. Hankins, Sanders, right side Ford. Ford takes a dribble baseline, ends up giving it to Jack Kramer. Kramer hands it back to Ford, over to Hankins between the circles. Back right side. 3:13 remains in the quarter, 6-0 Southeastern. Tim dribbles, right-hand floater off the backboard, no good. His putback is blocked by Goggin. Ball loose into the hands of Brock Sanders, and Sanders hits the three. So Sanders with three free throws. Here's another turnover, and Jack Kramer will put it up and in. And now that's going to be enough for Bob Jacobs. His team has played over 3 minutes of this opening quarter and have yet to be able to advance the basketball across the midcourt stripe, which is something in my years I have never seen. But with 2 minutes and 48 seconds remain, the Royals lead the Shamrocks 11-0. As the Royals defense has been stout here to begin this contest. That and some unforced errors by the Shamrocks. And as we looked at this Shamrock JV team coming in, there was some notable, started looking around and seeing a few juniors on this team. But most noticeably, you've got a freshman and a sophomore at the guards, and that's the ball handlers, and that's currently what the Shamrocks' problem is right now, is not being able to keep control of the basketball. So we'll try this again with 2 minutes and 48 seconds, and we'll see if Coach Jacobs has a better idea for the Shamrocks on how they can get the ball across half court. It'll be Pepio Tebby, Frank Grimes, joined by Krieg and Goggin. Or excuse me, Cam Shaw and Dylan Goggin. They'll get the ball into the hands of Tebby. Full court pressure by Southeastern. Here's Pepio. Pepio finally gets it across the half court. Hit down to Goggin. Goggin's shot right underneath the basket. No good. Ball is loose. Tapped out and into the hands of Tim Ford. Ford one-on-one takes it coast to coast. And as he lays it off the glass, a whistle and a foul as the shot won't drop. But it will be Tim Ford headed to the line to shoot a pair. Pepio is tagged with his second team foul as Tim's first free throw is no good. One more free throw due for Tim Ford. Second free throw up, it's good. Tim's on the scoreboard with that free throw, and Royals extend their lead to 12-0. 2:30 left to go, opening quarter. Shamrocks able to get it in the front court. They try to pass the ball. It was deflected by, I believe, Tim Ford, and then right off of the Shamrocks, Cam Shaw. Chandler Kemp back in. Dylan Goggin will leave for the Shamrocks. Royals have the basketball up 12-0 with 2:25 left to go, opening quarter. Into the front court. Here is Sanders as he pops a quick three. Brock Sanders has 3 3-point baskets if you count the 3 free throws that he took. And they try to get the ball down the low post. Grimes kicks it back out. Chandler Kemp with nowhere to go, and they'll kick the ball out to Pepio. Under 2 minutes left to go here in the quarter as Pepio dribble drives. They kick it out, driving as Chandler Kemp. 3 ball is sent outside by Tebby. It's no good, but the Shamrocks get the rebound, and they'll reset the offense with 1:42 remaining in the quarter. Southeastern leads 15-0 as the Shamrocks spent the better half of this first quarter just trying to get the ball into the front court. Shaw is kicking it out. Here is Spencer Tebby. Tebby, top of the key, loses his dribble, gives it to Pepio. Pepio cut off by Brock Sanders. They'll give it up top to Chandler Kemp. Kemp right back to Pepio. 1:12 left is good defense by the Hamilton Southeastern Royals denying the Shamrocks. Here's Kemp. Kemp drives baseline, looks for somewhere. He's in between a pair of Royals, kicks it out. Shot up, no good by Frank Grimes, and Sanders comes away with a rebound. And Max Hankins picks up the loose ball. They give it to Tim Ford, back to Sanders, over to Hankins. 47 seconds left to go in the quarter. Kramer finds Sanders, 3 on the way, and here's a foul on a 3-point opportunity by Chandler Kemp, and for the second time in this quarter, the Royals are headed to the free throw line, shooting 3. And Brock Sanders, who has hit 2 threes, has hit 3 straight free throws, as he's now hit 4 straight. Sanders, early in the quarter, was fouled on a 3-point attempt. Brock came through, hitting all 3 free throws. And Brock in steady rhythm here as he's hit 5 in a row. Goggin will come back in. He'll replace Kemp. 42.2 seconds remaining. And Sanders with 1 more free throw. That one he finally misses. Goggin with a rebound. It's 17-0 Southeastern. 38 seconds remain in this opening period of play. Grimes with the basketball as he'll give it up top to Spencer Tebby. Tebby, right side. This is Cam Shaw. 25 seconds remain in the quarter. Westfield trying to prevent from being skunked in this opening quarter. High ball screen allows Tebby to go to the wing. He'll throw it up. Alley-oop is no good. Put back by Cam Shaw is no good as Goggin's alley-oop attempt failed. 7 seconds remain as Westfield sends it back out. Spencer Tebby looking to move around, drives, right-hand runner in the lane, no good, and that's the end of the first quarter. Westfield totally befuddled by the Southeastern defense early, and they miss a couple of chances late to put some points on the board. And we have what looks more like a football score than a basketball score, as Hamilton Southeastern leads Westfield by the score of 17-0. We'll have second quarter action in just a moment. This is Royals basketball on ASO. Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern High School. Brian Scott with you tonight on Audio Sports Online as the Royals play their final home game of this season against the Westfield Shamrocks. Junior varsity action currently underway, and it's all Hamilton Southeastern. Is a score that, as I said just a moment ago, is more memorable for maybe a football score from earlier this fall. As Coach Scott May's team up on Westfield 17-0, but right now it's Coach Calvin Bembry's JV team with that 17-0 lead as they shut out the Shamrocks in the opening quarter. Shamrocks never made it past the midcourt stripe until over half the quarter had expired. They'll have the ball to begin the second quarter as Charlie Warner now in as we'll try to get the substitutions. They'll kick it out. Dribbling the basketball and sending it back out is Kyle Nickel. Almost losing him, but retreating is Warner. They'll feed it down low to Dylan Goggin. Looked like a good block as Keegan Culp was there defensively, but we'll have a whistle and a foul, and Goggin is at the line. And they actually get Brendan Burns. For Hamilton Southeastern, Keegan Culp, Brendan Burns, Grant Leach, Chris Ford, and Mason Hankins on the court. Dylan Goggin at the line, and Shamrocks looking for points any way they can muster, and Goggin misses the first free throw. Second free throw is also no good. Burns gets the rebound. It is Kyle Nickel as Dylan Goggin, as I just mentioned, Frank Grimes, Robbie Lynch, and Charlie Warner on the court for the Shamrocks. They trail 17-0. Brendan Burns drives, kicks it out. Leach for three. That's off the back iron, no good. Burns with a rebound up top to Mason Hankins. Hankins right side to Culp, back to Burns, back to Hankins once again. Mason dribble drives, gives it out to Grant Leach. Played about a minute in this second quarter. Southeastern up 17-0 in this junior varsity contest. Nice bounce pass. Chris Ford, he finds Keegan Culp. Culp to Burns. Burns had it stripped by Goggin, and Westfield brings it back the other way. Kyle Nickel will travel as trying to elude the defensive pressure from Chris Ford and Mason Hankins. Chandler Kemp back in for Coach Jacob Shamrocks is still looking for some type of combination that will lead to some points for the Shamrock JV squad, as it's been a combination of primarily good Royals defense, some unforced errors, and sloppy ball handling by the Shamrocks. Mason Hankins gets the ball from Keegan Culp, gets it right back. As Shamrocks in this rotating 2-3 zone. Here's a shot up by Culp. It's no good. Coming away with it is Frank Grimes. Grimes takes it all the way himself. Misses the shot. Keegan Culp with a rebound for the Royals. 4:12 left to go first half. And we remain at the same score we ended the first quarter with, 17-0, as a drive baseline is met with a whistle and a foul. Looks like it'll go against Charlie Kemp, or Chandler Kemp, excuse me. That's his second, team fourth. Alley-oop on the inbounds. Nicely done, Grant Leach to Brendan Burns. That'll make it 19-0 as the Shamrocks get it into the front court. Nice little hesitation, but the pull-up jumper is no good by Kemp. But the Royals end up losing the basketball on the baseline, and the ball will go back to the Shamrocks. Shamrocks have played almost a quarter and a half, have yet to put any points on the board. Inbound from the baseline is lobbed out to Nickel. Nice steal by Mason Hankins. 3-on-1, Hankins to Burns. Burns couldn't hold on to it. They kick it out to Culp, back to Mason. Mason in the lane, out to Leach. 3-ball is up and good. Good ball movement all the way around by Hamilton Southeastern. And it's a 22-0 lead, and another violation, palming violation, or actually an over and back violation called against Westfield. So Westfield really struggling mightily as now Frank Grimes will leave and Nick Krieg is back in. 22-0 with 3:33 left to go first half. Leach over the top finds Chris Ford. Ford back to Leach. Leach drives baseline, was trying to get the ball out to Keegan Culp, intercepted by Charlie Warner. Warner gets it in the front court. Shamrocks had 3-on-2 numbers. Instead, they settle for the jumper. And as Culp tried to pull down the rebound for Southeastern, he'll lose it out of bounds. And the ball will ball along back to the Shamrocks. Westfield with a 3-on-2. And instead of trying to make an aggressive play toward the baseline into the cup, they settled for the jumper and are just fortunate enough that the Royals couldn't control the rebound. 3 minutes, 10 seconds remain in this first half. It is all Hamilton Southeastern, 22-0 in this junior varsity contest. And for those of you that have been here and watched me do a game, know that I keep a bit of a stat sheet. The only marks I have are a pair of Dylan Goggin free throw attempts that he missed both of them. So it'll be a very interesting huddle over on the Westfield side as Coach Bob Jacobs looks for anything to get this team at least into the scorebook. We've played almost a quarter and a half, and still the Shamrocks have been shut out. 22-0 Southeastern leads as Warner looks to inbound from the baseline, and he will launch it, and it's going to be stolen by Chris Ford. Ford drives, lays it off glass and in. And all Coach Bob Jacobs can do is fold his arms. You could tell that's not what he wanted. Here is another turnover. Culp puts it away, sends it to Burns. Burns gives it back to Culp. And Keegan Culp puts it in the basket. It's a 26-0 lead. 2:46 remain. And here is another, but this time they'll say it was tapped out from behind by Mason Hankins. I would say it's going to be another turnover. But Mason Hankins popped it away from behind. So inbounding the ball will be Charlie Warner. And he'll give it to Kyle Nickel, who will try to find something for the Shamrocks to build upon as they are being shut out 26-0. Ball's given back to Nickel. Nickel down, and finally getting the bucket is Chandler Kemp to put the Shamrocks on the scoreboard. They do it with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to go first half. Ford almost loses it. Here's Grant Leach. Leach has it partially blocked by Cam Shaw. And as Chandler Kemp gets the basketball, we'll have a whistle and a foul. Grant Leach called for the personal foul. 2:11 left to go first half as Westfields gets the ball down into the hands of Nick Krieg, and Krieg's going to be fouled. Mason Hankins will pick up his first personal. It's the fourth team foul against Southeastern as Warner will inbound from the baseline. He'll find Kyle Nickel. Nickel back down low. This is Chandler Kemp, who has made the only Westfield basket of the contest. Driving left side's Robbie Lynch. They'll kick it out. 3-ball on the way is no good by Charlie Warner, and Southeastern has the basketball. Brendan Burns out to Chris Ford, drives the lane, throws up the layup, up and in. Ford with 4 points. It's a 28-2 Southeastern advantage. Driving in the lane and losing the basketball was Nick Krieg. Southeastern, Chris Ford has it poked away by Kyle Nickel, and now Ford will commit the personal foul, trying to reach in and strip the ball right back. 1:30 remains. Well, they're going to get Keegan Culp on the foul. His first, team's 5th. So 1.5 remain. 28-2 is our score. As the Shamrocks into the front court. Almost another strip. Robbie Lynch drives, and he's going to be bailed out as he took the basketball into the teeth of 4 Royal defenders, and he's going to get a whistle and a foul called against Southeastern. It'll be the Royals' 16th foul and Brendan Burns' 2nd. And it's going to send Robbie Lynch to the line to shoot 2. Shamrocks have attempted 2 free throws by Dylan Goggin. He missed them both. And now Lynch at the line to shoot 2. And he hits the first. One more for Robbie Lynch. Second free throw is also good as Lynch adds a pair of free throws and doubles the Shamrocks score to 28-4. Brendan Burns back to Mason Hankins. Hankins drives baseline, bounce pass. Was trying to give it to Grant Leach. Baseline weak side. The ball's kicked out of bounds, and the Royals will have the basketball. Coach Calvin Bembry is going to call a timeout. With 1:11 left to go in this first half, it's Hamilton Southeastern 28, Westfield 4. This is Royals basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Brian Scott back at Hamilton Southeastern High School. Senior night. Final home game of the regular season. Final home game for these JV members, and they are putting on a show here as defensively they have shut down Westfield. Offensively, 28 points on the board and limiting to the Shamrocks to only 4. Another nice inbounds play for Grant Leach to Brendan Burns. They've already connected once on that same play. And they connect on it again with the same result, a Royals basket. Hamilton Southeastern up by 26. Driving, Kemp, he's tied up by Leach, but the ball dribbles to the feet of Nick Krieg, who sends it out to the perimeter. Trying to drive the basketball was Charlie Warner. He was cut off. Here is Kemp, loses it, but catches it back. Drives in the lane, takes about 4 steps, and just will simply put his head down and run to the other end of the court after the traveling violation. 41 seconds remain in this first half. Hamilton Southeastern up big, 30-4. Hankins drives in the lane, spins, lays it with a right hand, and a pretty move by Mason Hankins. Mason finds himself in the scorebook, and here's a steal by Hankins. Pass was going to Nickel. Hankins gives it to Leach. Leach misses the layup. Coming away with it is Charlie Warner with 15 seconds left to go in the half. Warner bounced past to Kemp. Kemp can't hang on to it. And the turnover gives the ball right back to Hamilton Southeastern. Frank Grimes back in. He'll come in for Chandler Kemp. So the Royals have the basketball. 11.1 seconds remain in this first half. All Southeastern, 32-4. Grant Leach, high ball screen. Leaves it up for Chris Ford to Keegan Culp. 2 seconds. Here's Chris. Buzzer. No good. And the first half ends with Hamilton Southeastern heading to the locker room. Up by, well, let's just say they're up by a bunch. At the break, Southeastern leads Westfield by the score of 32-4. We'll be back with some halftime stats in about 6 minutes. You're watching Royals basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern High School. Brian Scott with you tonight. Final home game of this 2012-2013 season as the Royals look to clinch the outright Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship. But right now we have some JV action, and for the Hamilton Southeastern JV Royals, Coach Calvin Bembry's team, well, they've been pretty much the only ones that have any action to report in this game as they lead Westfield by the score of 32-4. Royals led at the end of the first quarter 17-0. And in fact, it wasn't until there was 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the first half before the Shamrocks put a crooked number out on the scoreboard. And even more so than that, it was the Shamrocks not even getting across midcourt until about more than halfway through the first quarter. So we've noticed that Coach Bob Jacobs' team hasn't even made it back out onto the court yet, even though the Royals are now out there. No, they are not, as they've been normally their norm. They don't come out and do any second half warm-ups. They just usually come to the bench and get ready to play. And now Coach Jacobs' team has made their way out in the court, and there's probably not a whole lot you can do down 32-4 when your offense has been as bad as the Shamrocks. And credit some very, very good Southeastern defense, but credit also a lot of unforced errors and turnovers by the Shamrocks. They have had some chances to put some points on the board and have missed some point-blank looks at times, but a lot of that's also can be credited to a very, very good Southeastern defense. To begin the second half, Dominique Hall will be out there, Brock Sanders, Keegan Kohlmeyer, Josiah Johnson, and Ty Scholl. So we've seen Coach Bembry pretty much use the gamut here of players at his disposal. As the Shamrocks still huddled around Coach Jacobs, and they will begin this second half with Ryan Pepio, Spencer Tebby, Nick Krieg, Cam Shaw, and Dylan Goggin, Cam Shaw and Dylan Goggin. So the only difference being Chandler Kemp stays on the bench with 2 personals. Brock Sanders leads all scorers with 11 points, as it's the Royals that'll have the basketball to begin this second half wearing the white against the green-colored Shamrocks. Dominique Hall steps up left of the free throw line, sends it out to Josiah Johnson. And Johnson quickly steps into a nice easy jumper, and Royals extend their lead to 30 at 34-4. 3 points each for Max Hankins and Grant Leach. Here is a steal by Ty Scholl. He'll take it the length of the court. And as the Royals bench explodes, as Ty Scholl gets the strip, goes coast to coast and gets the points, make it 36-4. Chris Ford had 4 points in that first half, along with Brendan Burns. But it was mainly Brock Sanders that got the Royals off to the hot start. He had 2 threes. He was at the line 6 times. Here's a high floater by Spencer Tebby. It goes off the glass and misses the shot, but the ball will belong to Westfield. Frank Grimes back in as Nick Krieg departs, and still looking for some type of combination as Coach Bob Jacobs, as his team's down by 32. Pepio gets the basketball. He has 2 personals. Brendan Burns for Southeastern also has 2. Nobody with any more than that. 36-4, that's our score. Here comes a high ball screen from Goggin, as Tebby will give it to Pepio. Pepio finds Grimes driving baseline. Grimes' layup is too strong, and there's Ty Scholl to tie him up, but the possession error will favor Westfield. And all Grimes can do is stare at the ceiling, as he had a point-blank layup going baseline, but shot the ball over the rim. Grimes looking for somebody to give the ball into. Nearly hits the 5 seconds, but finds Tebby. And Spencer Tebby will back it out. 36-4, 4:23 left to go third quarter. Here's a long-range three by Pepio. His shot no good. Goggin just kind of throws it up with one hand. Pepio gets the rebound. His one-hand shot is no good, and Brock Sanders comes away with it for Southeastern. Brock into the front court falls over Tebby, but the Royals keep the basketball moving. Keegan Kohlmeyer with the dribble. Gives it to Brock Sanders, right back to Keegan. We've played 2 minutes in this quarter. Royals lead 36-4. Here is Josiah Johnson. Good block by the Shamrocks' Dylan Goggin, but gets a little bit of Josiah with the body, and Goggin's going to be called for his first personal, and the Shamrocks' first foul here in the second half, and that'll send Josiah Johnson to the line to shoot two. Josiah hits the first free throw. Josiah had the first points for the Royals here in the second half as he stepped into an easy jumper. And that one rims out, rebounded by Cam Shaw. And Shaw trying to go right side to Pepio. It'll be knocked out of bounds by Brock Sanders, and the Shamrocks will retain possession. 37-4 is our score. We've played 2 minutes and 15 seconds of this third quarter, and the Shamrocks have yet to score. Driving left side is Shaw, loses the basketball, and now he will step on the baseline and turn the ball back over to the Royals. And Westfield now in that danger mode where everybody's got their heads down and starting to feel the pressure, even though they already trail by 33. Body language not very good right now for the Shamrock JV team. Ball is tapped into the backcourt. They'll throw it back up front. Scholl gets the basketball from Keegan Kohlmeyer, and his tie goes up. He's fouled as he gets in the air. Cam Shaw. Shaw will credited with his first personal foul, and Ty Scholl is at the line. Ty with a bucket. He got a strip and went coast to coast as the Royals JV bench exploded as he finished off the fast break, as Ty hits the first of two free throws. One more for Tyler. Tyler's second free throw is also good. He has 4 points. And a timeout called with 3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the third quarter. All Hamilton Southeastern. They lead Westfield in this junior varsity contest by the score of 39-4. Fans, we want to have you stay tuned. We will disconnect the stream immediately following the JV game, but I'll bring it right back up as they will be having their the senior night festivities. 7 senior members of this Hamilton High School basketball team, and these 7 seniors are hoping to cap off tonight what would be a high school career of having won the Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship every year that they were affiliated with the team. Here's a bounce pass that gets away as Spencer Tebby tried to get Ryan Pepio and goes off of Pepio out of bounds, and another unforced error by Shamrocks. Give the ball back to Southeastern as we're halfway through this third quarter, and Royals up 39-4. Dominique Hall with the basketball, left side, Ty Scholl. Ty Scholl now tries the perimeter shot, and Ty Scholl now feeling like he can do no wrong. He gets a strip and goes coast to coast, hits 2 free throws, and now hits about an 18-foot jumper. He has 6. 41-4 is our score. Here's a steal by Josiah Johnson. Johnson leaves it off to Brock Sanders. Sanders to Keegan Kohlmeyer. Kohlmeyer, a little stutter step, pull-up jumper in the lane is up and good. Kohlmeyer is in the scorebook, and now only Dominique Hall remains. Here's another steal, and finishing it off is Brock Sanders. And Sanders now with 13 points. It's a 41-point lead, 45-4. And now here's another steal poked away by Sanders. Here comes Dominique Hall. Hall is in the scorebook. I said Hall. I meant Dominique Hill. As right now all Bob Jacobs can do is just sit and watch. Here's another strip by Ty Scholl. Scholl outlets to Kohlmeyer. Kohlmeyer sends it to Sanders. 3-ball on the way is off. Ball rebounded by Pepio. 1:37 remains, 47-4, and Pepio is going to be bailed out with a blocking call as he had nowhere to go. But a foul will be committed by Hamilton Southeastern. Keegan Kohlmeyer will be hit with his first team foul against Southeastern. As Kyle Nickel, Nick Krieg, and Chandler Kemp all back in for the Shamrocks. They have yet to score in this quarter, and there's 1:29 left. The ball to Krieg. Krieg will take it, spin in the lane. Royals were actually expecting him to send that ball back out to the perimeter, but Krieg spun back to the basket, and we'll have a whistle and a foul called against Southeastern. Ty Scholl will be called for his first, and Nick Krieg will go to the line trying to end another long Westfield drought. And that's just the kind of night it's been for the Shamrocks, as he missed that by a mile to the right. Substitutions as Sanders and Scholl will leave, as Scholl leaves with 6 points. Meanwhile, Jack Kramer and Tim Ford back in. Second free throw is also no good for Krieg. And it remains a 47-4 Southeastern advantage. With the ball, Tim Ford. Ford finds Johnson at the free throw line. Shot no good. Johnson chases down the loose ball, however. Kohlmeyer finds running baseline Tim Ford from the weak side, and Tim Ford finishes it off to make it a 49-4 Southeastern lead with 56 seconds remaining in this first half of or third quarter of play, And Westfield now just trying to do something with the basketball. Krieg might have shuffled the feet a little bit, no whistle. Instead, they'll get the benefit of a foul as Krieg underneath the basket is fouled. Shot was missed. Foul is going to go against Josiah Johnson, his first, team's third. And Krieg back at the line where he just missed 2, and he's now missed 3. Is that one short? Dylan Goggins set to check back in. Should Krieg be able to make this free throw? And he finally hits one, and the Shamrocks are finally on the board, and in this second half, as it has taken them 5 minutes and 19 seconds to hit the scoreboard here in the second half. High ball screen as Kohlmeyer with the basketball, drives baseline, sends it out, was trying to send it out to Jack Kramer, but they'll say it went off last Chandler Kemp. And the Royals will retain possession up 49-5, 23 seconds remain. We have a whistle away from the ball, and we're going to have an offensive foul. We're going to have an offensive foul against Jack Kramer. Kramer's second, team's fourth. Shamrocks with the basketball and 20 seconds left in this quarter. They only have a free throw to show for their offensive efforts. Here is another steal. Kohlmeyer taps it out to Kramer, gets the ball back. 8 seconds remain in the quarter. Kohlmeyer finds Kramer, 3 on the way. Long off the rim. Shaw with a rebound, sends it out. Here's a long-range half-court shot by Ryan Pepio. It bounces off the rim, and that's the end of the third quarter. So once again, Royals almost shut out the Shamrocks here in the third quarter, much as they did the first, and we'll head to the fourth quarter. Hamilton Southeastern well out in front. They lead by 44, 49-5. We'll be back with fourth quarter in just a moment. This is Royals basketball on ASO. Fourth quarter about ready to get underway. It'll be on the court for the Shamrocks, Kyle Nickel, Noah Hankinson, Dylan Goggin, Charlie Warner, and Robbie Lynch. But as the Royals have the basketball here, there's a long-range three by Jack Kramer that he nails from the top of the key to extend the Royal lead to 52-5. It is Josiah Johnson, Max Hankins, Tim Ford, Mason Hankins, Jack Kramer, who just hit that three. So both the Hankins, Tim Ford, Josiah Johnson, and Jack Kramer. As the Shamrocks look to inbound the ball, Nickel finds Charlie Warner. Warner gives it back. Westfield limited to just a single free throw in the third quarter. There's an 18-footer is up and good. And stepping into the shot was Robbie Lynch. He has four of the Westfield 7 points. 52-7 is our score. Fourth quarter, senior night here at Hamilton Southeastern, and this JV team all smiles right there on the bench as Max Hankins dribbles and is fouled from behind by, I believe, Kyle Nickel. So they are pronouncing it Kyle Nicole, so we will do the same here. As Kyle Nicole hit with his first personal, and now the ball slips out of Mason's hands right back into Westfield's. 52-7 our score. Here's a three ball on its way. Shot no good by Charlie Warner, and Mason Hankins comes away with a rebound for Southeastern. Mason dribbles the basketball. Left side to Max, back to Mason. Max, a little bit of pick and roll action, but here's Kramer stepping back and hitting the three from the corner. Jack Kramer with a pair of threes in this quarter. He has 8 points, and the lead's 55-7. 4:20 left to go in this contest. Here's another pull-up jumper as Charlie Warner hits the jumper, his first 2 points. It's 55-9. Mason Hankins around a Kramer screen, gives it to Johnson. Johnson finds Tim Ford as the Royals move the basketball around to the far side. Mason step back, three on its way. That one's no good. And going up for the rebound, Jack Kramer, and a whistle and a foul will be called against the Shamrocks. It'll be their fourth team foul. And they will charge the foul to Dylan Goggin, his second. Josiah Johnson leaves, as does Jack Kramer. Ty Scholl back in. And Keegan Kohlmeyer as well. And Kohlmeyer will trigger the inbounds from the baseline, lob it all the way to the backcourt where Mason Hankins recovers it and brings it back up front. Left side to Kohlmeyer around a Ford screen. There's Ty Scholl, three from the top of the key. Doesn't get the roll. Ford flies in. He goes up, loses the basketball. Tipped out by Max Hankins. Driving, laying it off the glass. No good by Kohlmeyer. And getting the rebound was Charlie Warner. Warner pops, hits. And they will call it a three. Warner hits the three from the right wing to make it 55-12. Kohlmeyer gets a screen. Gives it to Tim Ford. Drives, lays it up off the glass. And Tim has 5 points, and it's a 57-12 contest. Almost halfway through this final quarter, junior varsity action. Warner, who's hit a couple of shots here in the quarter, has the basketball. Leaves it over for Kyle Nicole. Nicole back over to Robbie Lynch. Back to Warner, pops the long-range three. That one's off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Tim Ford. Ford with the basketball. Royals up 57-12, under 2:40 left to go in the fourth. Ford drives the lane and with a right hand lays it off the glass and in. Ford goes down hard but gets right back up and gets back defensively for Southeastern. So all Southeastern here in this junior varsity contest as driving toward the cup is Robbie Lynch, and a whistle and a foul as Max Hankins will likely pick up his first personal. It'll be the 15th foul against Hamilton Southeastern. Nick Krieg will depart as Ryan Pepio is back in for the Shamrocks as they look to get the ball inbounds. Warner on a nice find as he finds all alone Noah Hankinson, who snuck in baseline on the weak side and was able to take the inbounds pass and lay it up and in. 3 ball on the way, Keegan Kohlmeyer. Royals hitting in just about every way imaginable this evening in this JV contest. Free throw line, threes, fast breaks, jumpers, layups. Here's a strong baseline move, but the little runner is no good by Pepio. Royals have the basketball left side as Keegan Kohlmeyer is going to call for traveling. Had a thought of maybe popping the three or trying to drive to the cup, and instead shuffled the feet and is called for traveling. Ty Scholl will depart. Josiah Johnson back in, but before we have any more action, we'll have a timeout. 1:46 left to go. It is all Hamilton Southeastern. They lead by 48, 62-14. We'll be back right after this brief timeout. This is Southeastern basketball on ASO. Brian Scott back at Hamilton Southeastern High School. We have 1:46 left to go in this junior varsity contest. And while Calvin Bembry's JV team has had its ups and downs this year, they've battled back in a few games. They've had their share of being blown out. Tonight it has been all Southeastern as they have thoroughly taken care of Westfield. They currently lead by 48, 62-14. They shut out Westfield in the first quarter, almost did it again in the third. In fact, Westfield didn't get their first points until 2 minutes and 25 seconds were remaining in the second quarter. Driving right side and then kicking out. Here's Pepio for three. That one's long. Rebound chased down by Nicole. He'll give it back to Noah Hankinson, and Hankinson puts it in. Hankinson has 4 points. He was not even on their Westfield roster, and in checking before the game, their scorekeeper said, yeah, we don't expect to see Noah. They just kind of brought him up to help fill out a roster spot. Well, he has 4 points as Keegan Kohlmeyer, strong move to the cup as the defense was nowhere to be found, and Kohlmeyer scores easily. We go back the other way as heady play by Robbie Lynch. He was going to lose the basketball, threw it off of Tim Ford's leg out of bounds, and Westfield will have the basketball back. Dominique Hill back in as Ford takes a seat. Under a minute left, 64-16. Here's a three, Ryan Pepio. So the Shamrocks finally find some offense, but much too little too late as they have to wait until the fourth quarter to do so. They trail 64-19. Kohlmeyer just trying to dribble the basketball out right now, as every Royal that has entered the contest has played. Johnson's three is off the rim, no good. Mason Hankins' putback is no good, and the Shamrocks have the ball with 22 seconds remaining. Again, right after this, here's a steal by Kohlmeyer, and Kohlmeyer will just lay it up and in. Keegan Kohlmeyer gets the bucket. The Royals will have a big win in this JV game, their final home game of this season, as Pepio is going to be fouled by Mason Hankins. It'll be the 16th foul and Mason's second. Again, we will be ending the stream but then turning it back on as we will have tonight's senior night activities before we have our varsity contest, as the Royals look to have their 4th straight HCC championship. The inbound play is no good, and that's the end of our junior varsity contest, all Hamilton Southeastern. They win this JV game by the score of 66-19. We're going to turn it off, and when we turn it back on, we'll have senior night festivities here in just a few moments. This is Royals basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com.